This, right here, as I recall, the spilled powder in the chem lab was yellow too, was it not? So, it's not unreasonable to infer that the powder on her foot is the same powder spilled in the chem lab.
But why would there be powder from the chem lab on her foot?
On top of her foot, too.
Couldn't that be because she was there in the lab when the powder was spilled? What I'm saying is, I believe it was Ogami herself who spilled the powder by Cabinet C. When she dropped the bottle, the powder spilled away from her. So she was able to avoid the majority of it. But some of the powder must have gotten kicked up and stuck in her shoe. It adds up, doesn't it?
Which begs the question, why did Ogami go to Cabinet C? The only reasonable answer being, she was there for the poison. After all, what else is in that cabinet?
No, you're wrong! It was me! I powdered the poison! Because I'm the one who killed her!
No, you didn't kill her. The culprit, the murderer, taking into consideration both the truth behind the poison and the still unsolved sealed room. There's only one person it could be. And that person is none other than Sakura Ogami. Ogami was killed by Ogami herself.
What did you say? Ogami herself was the culprit?
So you're saying it was suicide? Ogre, no!
That's crazy talk. Crazier than people who jump off buildings thinking they can fly.
Yeah, it's hard to believe. I don't even want to believe it. But if you look at things like that, all the pieces fall into place. Ogami retrieved the poison herself, and she ingested it of her own will to put an end to her own life. And then, there's the sealed room. It makes perfect sense why we couldn't figure it out. That would be because it was constructed by the victim herself. The sealed room was constructed from the inside by Ogami herself.
She likely sealed the room off to prevent anyone from interfering with her. She then took the poison, ending her life. And until the seal in the rec room was broken, the poison bottle was inside the room. But after the seal was broken, someone removed it. That was you, Asahina, wasn't it? Everything you did was to steer our investigation off track. Am I right? When we discovered Ogami's body, you were just standing by the door. Because you already knew she was dead, as well as the fact that the poison bottle was there on the floor by the entrance.
That's when you picked up the bottle, isn't it? While Kirigiri and I were distracted, me shocked by Ogami's death, and her busy checking for a pulse.
Plus, thinking back on it now, your behavior then was a little peculiar.
I gotta go get them. Gotta go get everyone else.
Asahina staggered out of the rec room.
You said you were going to get everyone else. However, your true destination was the chem lab, where you could exchange the containers. When you arrived at the lab, you went straight to Cabinet A where the protein was stored. You filled the empty poison bottle with protein, and left with just the empty protein container. That would then explain the footprints, too.
After that, you rushed to go get the others, returning to the rec room.
I brought,
Oh no, not Ogre!
Well, looky here. Big girl's gone bye-bye.
I see. Ogami has been murdered.
And while everyone's eyes were on Ogami's body, you quietly set the protein container on the floor. I should have realized it right then and there. Normally, you would have rushed over to Ogami's body before any of the rest of us, Asahina. In that situation, you would not have left Togami's side.
Ugami committed suicide, and you planted fake evidence to hide that fact. As long as you could keep the truth from coming out, you didn't care if you yourself became a suspect. That's why you didn't do anything about the footprints in the chem lab or the protein-filled poison bottle. You intentionally left those incriminating pieces of evidence for us to find.
So, you're saying Asahina tampered with the scene to make it look like she was the killer?
No. You're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. I'm the killer. I murdered Sakura.
That's enough, Asahina. It's all over.
No, it's not over.
I said it's over! No. We have to end it. We have to put an end to this! Everything is falling into place. This is it. The case began with Togami inviting 3 people to meet her in the rec room. Hagakure, Fukawa, and Togami. Of the 3 of them, Fukawa was the first to enter the rec room. Arriving before anyone else, she hid herself somewhere in the room. Her hiding place was inside the rec room locker. From there, she watched as Togami entered the room.
Yo, yo, Hagakure in the
The
scene!
next person to enter the rec room was Hagakure.
Ooh, candy! Duh!
Mistakenly assuming Togami intended to kill him, he freaked out.
Ah!
Instinctively grabbing one of the nearby Monokuma bottles and attacking her with it. Believing himself to have just accidentally murdered
shit,
Togami,
dude. Oh
Hagakure
God,
set to work
man.
planting a red
Oh
herring.
God, oh man! Ooh, a magazine!
He saw the magazine lying on the table and wrote a certain person's name in it, intending it as a fake dying message. Fukawa. By writing her name in the magazine, he attempted to shift the blame for his crime onto her. But Fukawa herself had borne witness to the whole thing from inside the locker. She stepped out of the locker, retrieved the fake evidence, and returned it to the magazine rack. However, in doing so, she slipped up. When she put the magazine in the rack, she put it back upside down. Just moments later, Togami regained consciousness and appeared before Fukawa. And she passed out at the sight of the blood on Togami's face. As a result, her Genocider Shou personality gained control. And when she woke up, she was once again greeted by Togami's blood-covered face. And, as you would expect, she freaked out. Just as Hagakure had done, she grabbed a nearby Monokuma bottle and attacked Togami with it. This explains why she had 2 wounds on her head. Believing herself to have just killed Togami, Genocider got to work disposing of the evidence. She collected the broken bottle fragments in the Monokuma figure holding the queen. And with that, Togami had been struck twice with the same weapon. But despite that, she was still alive. So here's the question. What was her true cause of death? The answer. Poison she herself took from the chem lab. She sealed the rec room from the inside, preventing anyone from entering, and then took the poison, ending her own life. Next, we found her corpse. I I broke the window in the rec room's door, breaking the seal in the room at the same time. However, someone there already knew that Ogami had committed suicide. They snuck out with the poison bottle. And replaced it with a protein container while nobody was looking. In doing so, they brought suspicion onto themselves to lead us away from the truth during the class trial. And the person who did all this was you, Asahina. And that is the truth behind this case. Ogami took her own life, and you claimed you were the culprit to hide that fact, didn't you, Asahina?
That's the truth? But, Naegi, how did the likes of you reach that conclusion when I was unable to?
Huh? Well,
You still don't get it. Gain and loss are not the only criteria humans use to make decisions. That's what makes them so complex. You don't understand that, and that's why you couldn't reach the truth. I warned you, didn't I? That your lack of consideration for human emotion would come back to haunt you. And now it has, you prick.
Hey! You guys are making it sound like you think the punchline's already been delivered. But you seem to be forgetting we haven't had ballot time yet.
Ah, yes, that's right.
You actually forgot? Man, you're no fun. But it kinda is tradition, so I guess we gotta do it anyway, if just for show. I know it's a bit of a pain, but please cast your ballots using the switch in front of you. I wonder who the villain's gonna be. Will you be right? Or will you be oh so wrong? Let's find out. Correct. Yep. Sakura Ogami was murdered by Sakura Ogami. That's it. The end.
So you guys were right. But there's something I still don't get. To what end did you attempt to cover up the truth behind Ogami's death, Asahina? Had you actually succeeded, you too would have been executed. So why would you do such a thing?
Yeah, dude! You almost got us all killed!
That was what I was going for!
huh?
The reason Sakura died is because you all packed her into a corner. You all killed her. So, I couldn't let her be the only one who died.
Girl, are you saying you wanted to drag us all down with you?
Someone has to pay the price. Me, you, everyone, we're all responsible for her death. So we should all pay.
You for real? What makes you think that?
Still don't get it? Fine, I'll tell you. I'll tell you just how much despair Sakura was in when she died. Look at this. I despair of everything. This constant fighting. It's ugly and only serves to deepen my despair. If all I can do is wait for someone to kill me, I would rather end things by my own hand.
What?
I found it on the floor, outside the rec room. It's Sakura's suicide note.
Her suicide note?
In hindsight, there were clues she was planning to do this, even before it happened.
Earlier today, after Genocider attacked me, when Sakura ran out the infirmary, all angry about it. I chased after her. Hey, Sakura, relax. I'm fine.
How could I possibly relax? I care not if they come after me. I accept full responsibility for my actions. But for you to suffer because of me, for you, my dear friend, stand up for me, had to be injured as a result.
Sakura.
Because of me. Because of what I have done. I have turned everyone against each other. I am responsible for everything.
Sakura blamed herself. She felt responsible for everything. I'm sure the reason she wanted to talk to you three was to find out if there was anything she could do to earn your forgiveness. You're going to meet with them? That's a really bad idea. You're putting yourself in danger.
Worry not. I am simply going to speak with them.
What about? You really shouldn't go. If all three of you came at you at once, even you couldn't.
Asahina, do not mistake them for your enemies. They are our friends.
Sakura. She trusted you guys. She truly believed in you. That you would be able to understand if she opened up to you. That you were her friends. And yet... You stomped all over her feelings in the worst possible ways.
Well, that was more like an accident.
Don't you try to weasel out by calling it an accident! She trusted you guys, and you wouldn't even give her the time of day. You very nearly killed her without even hearing her out. She was in despair because of you! That's what this note is saying. If all I can do is wait for someone to kill me, I might as well. That's how far you backed her into a corner. Sakura, you're hurt! What happened?
Asahina, so you came.
Stay right here. I'll go find something to help you get bandaged up.
Asahina.
Huh?
I am grateful to have had the opportunity to meet you here.
What's wrong, Sakura? What is this all of a sudden?
Could I ask a favor of you?
A favor?
I would like some protein. Could I ask you to get some for me?
Sure, yeah. Hang on, I'll be right back with it. Don't move! That was the last time Sakura and I ever spoke. I went to the chem lab to get the protein she asked for, and there was powder all over the floor. That's when I realized that Sakura had gotten something from the poison cabinet. I ran back to the rec room as fast as I could. I was too... Sakura! Open up! Open the door! Why should you... Why should you have to die, Sakura? Sakura was just a regular person. She had weaknesses, just like everyone else. She bled. She felt pain. She was just a regular, fragile human being. And yet you all kept demonizing her, kept accusing her of things. And when I got hurt, trying to stand up for her, I burdened her even further. I didn't even realize what I had done.
Asahina.
We all killed Sakura. We backed her into a corner and killed her. There's no good reason for us to go on living having done that to her!
So you thought you'd try to take us all down? You intentionally tried to lure us to the wrong conclusion?
She died despising everyone, and I wanted to get revenge for her. But you saw through me, and in the end, I couldn't do anything for her. How am I supposed to face her now?
Hey, sorry for interrupting your sob story. But holy mother of God almighty, does it ever end? I'm falling asleep in my chair here! And anywho, do you really think you can know what Ogami was thinking as she died, Asahina?
What's that supposed to mean?
Let's be honest. Most of what you've been rambling on about for the last ever is just your interpretation. An interpretation predicated on that suicide note.
Oh, of course I know! Sakura and I were...
If you'd let me finish. As I was trying to say, the basis of your interpretation is invalid. And that this baby here might possibly, mayhaps, be the real thing.
What's that, dude?
As if it weren't obvious enough, it's a suicide note. Ogami's.
Suicide note? But didn't Asahina already?
I wrote that one. This one was left in your room, Asahina. Ogami must have wanted you to have it.
So, you tricked me?
Tricked is such a harsh way of putting it. I just wanted to spice things up a bit, that's all. And anyway, you're responsible for whatever you decided to believe my silly scribbles meant. I mean, it's not like Ogami's name is anywhere on it.
That's not fair!
Nothing unfair about it. I didn't do nothing wrong. Did I plant fake evidence? Did I try to divert your attention from the true culprit? You guys are the reason this happened. And you guys are the reason it got so messy. I didn't do anything. So what if that suicide note was the spark that set it all off? It was still all you guys' work. I'm totally in the clear. It was just part of the show.
So what does her real suicide note say?
If you really want to know, I'll read it to everyone with my world-renowned, beautiful voice.